So my wife and I just got back from seeing the new Super Mario Bros. Movie in theaters, and today is the 5th of April 2023, the date that it, of course, came out. And no, I didn't go in costume, although I was tempted. I've gone as Mario before for Halloween, and that of course is because I've been playing Super Mario games since I was 3 years old, back when the original Super Mario Bros. Game came out for the original NES. And yep, I am that old. I've loved this series my whole life. It's my second favorite series of all time for video games. Second again only to the Final Fantasy series, but I definitely love Super Mario overall. And the sad thing is, this was the only movie that my wife and I were really excited to see that was coming out. We did really get into the MCU movies, phases 1 through 3. And those were a lot of fun, but I don't know, I just kind of felt like I got burned out on all the superhero movies and sequels and everything else. So even though this is an adaptation of a video game series, I still was really excited to see especially how it looked and everything. But I want to go ahead and give my thoughts on the movie itself, starting with like the theater. So we went to one of our local theaters here in the Chicagoland area, and I just wanted to kind of give my thoughts on stuff like the ratio of kids to adults. And the funny thing, of course, is that it was probably 80% kids, 20% adults. I would have thought maybe it would have leaned maybe 50-50, because a lot of adults have a lot of background playing Mario games in their own childhoods, but maybe these are the parents that are bringing their kids. That's probably what the case is. The movie is being made by Illumination Animation, and they of course do stuff like the Minions movies with Gru and all that kind of stuff. Never really got into that series, but they did a really good job with the animation itself. Again, kind of getting back to the theater, it was really packed. I really didn't see any empty seats at all. Of course, it's the premiere day. And it was kind of noisy during the movie itself, but again, you're having like 80% kids in the theater. You're gonna have a little bit of the kids crying or excited or reacting to things that happened during the movie. So, knowing that I was going in on the release day and knowing that it was probably going to be full of kids enjoying the movie, no, that's great. As one of my favorite YouTubers, Retrobird, says, get on my lawn. We want kids and whatnot to enjoy video games and things from video games. So I just wanted to give a quick spoiler-free summary of the plot. And essentially, it's the Mario Brothers who live in Brooklyn and are starting their own plumbing business, but discover a series of pipes that take them to various worlds, such as the Mushroom Kingdom. And it's there that Mario teams up with Peach to save the kingdom from the evil King Bowser. Again, this is like a standard Mario. If you've ever played like 5 minutes of a Mario game, this type of plot shouldn't surprise you. And one of the funny things that I was reading some of the critic reviews is a lot of them thought that the story was underdeveloped. There really wasn't that much plot or anything like that. And honestly, if I compare this to the most plot-driven mainline Mario games, the movie definitely had all of those beat for plot. But you don't really play a Mario game for story, you play it for the gameplay. And in this instance, this movie is more about recognizing characters and seeing them in live action and how they would handle certain situations and everything, and how the voice actors sort of portrayed them. And to that end, I really thought the voice acting was really good in it, even and including Chris Pratt as Mario and Charlie Day as Luigi. And the former really got a lot of hard time on the internet, because it's the joke being like, okay, you can never spot John Cena. Well, Chris Pratt always is voicing all these characters. Of course, it didn't help. I think a month after Chris Pratt being announced as Mario, he was also announced to voice Garfield in a new Garfield movie. But I felt like he did a really good job, and he was really good, but nobody compares to how fantastic Jack Black was as King Bowser. He was amazing, but again, his pedigree for voicing animation from like the Kung Fu Panda series of movies and everything, he really nailed it. And there were a couple musical scenes with him, and it was really great to hear his musical chops. And to that end, you could kind of recognize some of the voice actors and actresses by said voices, especially when it came to Bowser and his musical scenes, and Seth Rogen as DK and his, of course, traditional laugh. But it was funny seeing DK in the movie and him having a more prominent role, but I feel like that's kind of a love letter from Shigeru Miyamoto, who is one of the two producers of the movie, sort of to give him his, okay, it really has been over 40 years since DK has appeared, and this is kind of like, hey, this is kind of where he came from. And to that end, they do reference his past in one of the Easter eggs back in Brooklyn in one of the Jumpman cabinets, and it was really cool seeing the Charles Martinet cameo and just chock full of Easter eggs. It was one of those things like, oh, there's one, there's one, there's one, there's one. It was really cool to see. But me playing the whole series and everything like that, it kind of added additional entertainment and value for me. It was kind of like the payoff for being a fan for over 35 years. I loved it. And kind of going back to the Illumination animation, the animation itself was phenomenal. It was fantastic. They did a great job with the action scenes. All the characters were very expressive with the various emotions that they were portraying, and of course the voice actors themselves adhering to that emotion that the animation was. And the only criticism I would say is they leaned into the slow-mo shot a little bit too much. Maybe that's more of an Illumination animation, sort of a tell, I guess. Kind of like what do they call it? The DreamWorks smirk. Maybe that's what an Illumination animation thing. I don't know, but one of the things I also wanted to give a really big shout out to was the music. The composer is Brian Tyler, and he's one of my dad's favorite music composers because I like video game music. He likes actual movie soundtrack scores, and Brian Tyler did a fantastic job with the overall soundtrack, having a whole lot of themes pulling from early games like Super Mario Brothers and even the original Donkey Kong up to and including stuff from Super Mario Odyssey. It was amazing. And there were some non-Nintendo music themes that were thrown in there. A lot more 80s stuff, I'm guessing, just to kind of pull in all of us kids from the 80s and 90s to have that sort of recognition, especially because of the fact that Mario came from the 80s. In a way, that's kind of an homage to him as well. And also the fact that a lot of the composers, video game composers, had a lot of inspiration from 80s music itself. Now, if I were to make a comparison to this and the Super Mario Brothers movie back in, what was it, 1993? There's no competition. This movie absolutely blows that one away. That one is kind of a favorite of mine in the sense that it's like a comfort food movie. It's just because I grew up with it. But this one, just with all the references and everything, the music being fantastic, the character development, all the cool little power-ups and everything, and even the mid and end credit scenes, especially the post-credit scene that's at the end hinting at a potential sequel, it was fun. I think that's the overall feeling, is that this was a fun movie. This was essentially what you as a video game player look to for a movie. I mean, I remember that feeling as a little kid, just having a ton of fun playing a Mario game, and that's what this movie was. It was 90 minutes of feeling like a kid again, and just being able to sit back and enjoy and watch Mario. It was just a fantastic movie. It really helped me kind of capture that fun sense. I definitely think that this was a 10 out of 10 movie, and that's probably, if I would say I'm probably biased. I mean, look around my background. You've got all these video game things. You've got a whole bunch of Mario stuff around. My whole history with playing video games really makes me biased, and you know what? I don't care. I will unequivocally give this a 10 out of 10 because of my history with video games, with Nintendo with Super Mario. It felt like something that was just a quick 90-minute Nintendo saying, we see you. We see that you're a fan, and this is what we can give you. And if you don't get all the references that's in there, hey, that's fine. It's a fun movie for kids and adults that like feeling like a kid again. And even if you don't like those kind of things and you're just a kid, hey, it's bright colors and happy characters and fun music, and just it was just a great time. We loved the movie, and we're excited to see what could potentially come for sequels. I know that I've already heard something about a DK movie or something like that possibly coming after this, and I could see that. There was a lot of really fun stuff and Easter eggs that were shown in the DK world when Mario and Peach visited there, and it was just a fantastic time. But what do you think about all of this? Do you plan on seeing the Super Mario Brothers movie? Have you seen it? Let me know in the comments section below. I really am curious to hear what you guys think on this, and especially if you've seen it. Just let me know what you think. Did it meet your expectations? Do you feel like the critics, where they were criticizing a lot of the stuff? This, of course, is my first immediate reaction from the first viewing. I want to see it again and with subtitles, just so I can see everything that maybe I missed. Because especially the Easter eggs, man, I loved all the references, especially to Nintendo series that are not from Super Mario. So thank you again for watching my quick review here. If you like what you see, please like, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications. Thanks again, and have a great day.